You're locked into the only station that shows you how the hits are made.
How many times do I have to tell you?
This is The Blueprint. The Blueprint. Non-stop heat, back-to-back exclusives.
Impossible. What is
and
this?
the tracks that set the standard. If it bangs, it started right here. Right here. Turn it up. The Blueprint starts now.
What's up, world? It's your girl Carma.Ye, and we are back with another episode of the Blueprint Radio. Shout out to today's guest, Amir, aka Mr. Philadelphia, aka Come On Philly, aka Mr. Motivate Youth.
What's up?
How you doing?
I'm here.
I'm honored to have you.
Thank y'all for having me.
We already about half an hour in, so we're gonna get right to the conversation.
Let's go.
All right. What's the actual blueprint behind your consistency? Like, what does that look like for you on a day-to-day?
Really, it ain't really no real blueprint. I wanted to be the change that I wanted to see, and I felt like it wasn't, people push different parts of Philly, but I always felt like I wanted to see somebody push everywhere. Most of the times, you gotta be connected with somebody or really know somebody. So I wanted to show people, like, you don't gotta know people. You could just recognize what they good at. You know what I mean, and you can shed some light on it. And I wanted to, give the flowers to people and show people, like, it's a lot of people out here that done a lot of great things in Philly, and I think we need to start showing the world that they exist. So that's really the blueprint, just to show Philly to the world. I always say a lot of people trying to take Philly to the world, but I'm just trying to bring the world to Philly.
I love that. And before we get into the specifics of what you do and how you show love, because you do show love and you show love everywhere.
Yeah.
What is it that gave you this fuel to carry the city on your back the way that you do? Like, what gave you that obligation or that responsibility?
It was really a number of things, like, trauma in the street, losing a lot of people. Mm-hmm. My son, mom, Vonnie, she's seen a lot in me and was like, you a leader, so you need to start speaking up more. And then being inside them institutions like all my life, for a lot of people who know me, it's a lot of people who know me who've been in them places with me. I always been the same. I'm Philadelphia through and through. Like all the rappers that I meet now, I was the young boy who had all the posters on my wall. Like I was the dude, like I don't care if you sold barrettes and I seen you in a magazine, I was cutting it out the magazine if you was from Philly. So I always just been proud to be from Philly. So when I turned it up, I said, you know what, I'm gonna start showing that, like, that I always been proud, and I'm gonna just turn it up to the max. And that's how I am. I'm turned up every time I come outside. I'm looking for the next person. I'm looking for the next thing. I'm looking for whatever. As long as it represents Philly, I'm on it.
I love it. And not only are you just supporting businesses and different artists and rappers and things like that, you also are outside talking to the youth, talking to you. I see you in politics. I see you at the meetings, all of that. You are definitely doing your part in spreading the awareness of Philadelphia, what we bring, what we stand for. I'm saying we, yeah, I'm a resident now, y'all. I've been in Philly for about a month now. Shout out to y'all.
Okay.
Yeah. I love this city. It's very vibrant. And, I came to know who you were around the time of the Amir Ali concert.
Yeah,
that's
shout
when
out
I came.
Amir Ali.
And then, visiting Dialogue, open mics. I think I seen you at a open mic event, and the way that you were just empowering people to step up to the mic. It was like, it don't even matter what you say. You just got to have the confidence. Come on. Don't be afraid. Yeah. How did you develop that confidence? That shout out to Miss Vonnie, by the way. I heard you say Vonnie, she gave you that empowerment.
Most definitely. Outside
of that, within yourself, what made you, say, I got what it takes to speak, even if they not listening at first?
I've been like that since I was younger, actually. So I always, like, you go all the way back to when I was like in the 4th grade, graduating. I was speaking on stage. I'd never been afraid to speak. So I that always been there. The confidence, it took a while, because the confidence, it comes from knowing that you got something to offer the world. So the more confidence you get is knowing, like, that you got something to offer. A lot of people even underestimate their own self, their own talents. Absolutely. They feel like they don't have nothing to offer. But it's like you taking a risk on yourself. Once you realize that you got something to offer, it's like, no, you know what I mean? Whether they think it's valuable, you got to believe that what you got to offer is valuable. And if you think it's valuable, talk about it. Let people know. You feel what I'm saying? That it's valuable. You know what I mean? My gift is showing other people they value, you know, and how the world see them, and giving them, you know, the battery to say, go ahead, man, you could do it. You know what I mean? Just try it. You know what I mean? That's how I am. I'm gonna take you to the bridge and make you think you can fly.
Right.
And even if you fall, we're gonna get back up and do it
Try
again. You know what I mean? We're gonna do it again.
I love that. You definitely have that spirit of a motivator. Hence the name Mr. Motivate Philly or Motivate Youth. When it comes to mindset, what is something that you feel most people need to look at when it comes to mindset? What is something that somebody could shift to get into a more confident space and what it is that they're trying to share with the world?
One, you gotta learn to let go of that pride. When we can learn something from everybody, and a lot of us, you know, just because of how we was raised, we feel like we know everything. We feel like we can't learn from somebody. Older people feel like they can't learn from younger people. Younger people feel like they can't learn from older people. So that's why people see a mixture on my page, because I'm showing Philly the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, I sit down with a celebrity the same way I sit down, you know, with a drug addict in front of the deli, because being honest, so where I come from, I might learn more from that drug addict, because I know how he gonna give me the story how he felt. You feel what I'm saying? A lot of the times we measure people based off of what they got, and that's wrong. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's about rewiring the way you think and realizing that you can learn something from everybody. You never stop learning. I don't care how old you is, you never stop learning, and it's gonna always be like that. But you gotta have the pride to let it go and realize that even if a person is not even doing as good as you in life, you could still learn something from them. Don't just not listen to them because they don't got the best car, the best house, the best jewelry. Learn something from them.
Definitely. Staying a student, very important.
Yeah.
And the ways to go about that, just expose yourself to new information. You know, that's a new podcast, that's a new book, a new radio station, a new environment, a new club, anything. You know, follow new pages, unfollow pages that you notice are giving you the same toxic narratives.
Facts.
You know, just expose yourself to new things. That's definitely a key. What else? When it comes to the youth, me, myself, being somebody who did spend time in the system as a youth, between the ages of 10, I'm gonna say between 10 and 17, I was in and out the system. I think my longest stretch was like 2.5 years in a state prison for youth in Texas. What is something, as we transition out of those things, coming to our adulthood, we don't get that normalized experience. You know, I didn't get to experience prom. I didn't get to see too many things that day-to-day life things that people grow up with and they take with them into the world. I had to figure a lot of shit out by trial and error.
Facts.
You know, to the youth that are coming into their adulthood now, whether that's transitional housing, independent living, what are some keys that we could give to them? What are some things that we need to see for those people that are transitioning into adulthood from youth? If you follow me.
Honest, you know, that's a tough question, but it's hard because, you know, I'm starting to realize that, like, we could say whatever to them, but they still gotta go back home. You feel what I'm saying? And a lot of their homes is messed up. You feel me? When it come down to the youth, I'm so passionate about that because, like you, that's when I started at 10 years old. And being in the mental hospitals, you know, that stuff did something to me, you know, and I hated my mom, I hated my dad, I hated the world because I didn't understand that, you know, you could be so young, and the stuff that I seen going on in there with kids younger than me, and, you know, we was like lab rats. And because our moms was uneducated and stuff like that, they didn't really know what was going on. And this was the times when, you know, like, parents was getting checks for their kids and stuff like that. And we was getting sold on all parts
different medications,
of the border, you know what I
that,
mean? And it just, it's hard. So with these kids in this generation, it didn't really get no better. In fact, I think it got worse because the system learned from their mistakes, and they figured out how to get smarter with the medication and with the money and with the insurance. So it's just hard. I think to each individual youngin', whether male or female, it's really all about your circle. It's really all about the people that you around, because it is so easy to go down the wrong path. You feel what I'm saying? But it's also easy to do the right thing too if you really want to do it. So that courage that a lot of people, you know, look down on, you gotta have that same courage to want to do the right thing, is because it's so easy to do the wrong thing, and one false move can alter your whole life.
Ripple effect.
You know what I mean? It can alter your whole experience. One felony that knocked you out of 85% of all the top jobs that you could have possibly got in the world. And it's like, you ain't even have to go that route. You could have went and got your gun license and changed all that. You understand what I'm saying? So it's really about that circle, and then having that courage to really want to go ahead and say, you know what, I'm going to just do the right thing. And I know they're going to call me a weirdo. I know they're going to, you know, call me names, because that's what we did when we was back then. You know, the smart person, we called them weirdos. The people that ain't want to be in the streets with us, the people that ain't want to be in the right path, we made fun of them. But them people never went to jail. Them people rarely ever lost anybody in the streets. They out here doing well. They don't have the same life that me and you had with going through the system and doing all these things. They don't share the same experience. So that courage is what a lot of them going to need, because you going back to that house and you might got that mom that's never there. You might got that dad that's in the streets. And a lot of these kids in Philly, they taking care of themselves. And they little brothers and sisters, you know what I mean? And it's hard. They can't even be kids no more.
Now that we gonna hover over the conversation of youth, because it does come back to the household. Being a mother, I have 2 children. Do you have children?
Yeah.
How many
4.
children? You got 4 children?
Yep.
I have 2 children. Congratulations. You
Yep.
know, it's a never-ending journey. The language that we use within our households, you know, when it comes to, I notice most times, and some people say that I'm not as stern as I should be with my children, but when it comes to the language that we use, there's nothing wrong with having clear, calm communication with your children. I find that most times in our culture, we are quick to, you know, that the child should be seen and not heard, or, you know, get out my face, that are grown folks' business. They're observers. They're watching everything that we do. And I feel as though we need to take more time with the youth and explain things. You know, sometimes my problem is I shield my children from a lot of things in the world. And I feel like that could also hurt them at the end of the day, because they're not aware of some of the dangers. So that's something that I need to scale back on personally, just being a little transparent. But the language that we use in our homes, you know, if your children come to you with curiosities, explore that with them. Don't shut them down. You know, words of affirmation, words of empowerment, curiosity about their natural gifts. You feel me? A lot of the things that I got in trouble for as a child, talking a lot. Look at what the fuck I'm doing now. You feel me?
Yeah.
They call me disruptive, always beating on the desk and singing. Look at me now.
Yeah,
it was just misdirected. You feel me? But I'm also seeing a lot of programs for the youth too. The other day you were outside speaking to a young woman. I forgot her name exactly, but she wanted to help the homeless. She wanted to help the drug addicts. She wanted to help the others. Kenzo. That was her name. Shout out to Kenzo. Can we talk a little bit about her mission?
Kenzo Sojo.
Sojo.
She an artist from up Kensington. She be around a rough crowd, but she been through it. You know what I mean? She got a deep story, but just me talking to her, she really afraid because she don't know how people gonna take her. And that was me at one time. I know how that is. Like, you don't trust nobody. And she been through some deep stuff that she wasn't really to talk about, but because I've been through it, I could read it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And with a lot of them. And
you still see the softness in her, that
yeah,
she still got
definitely.
an open heart though.
Yeah, you feel me? And when you around, like I said, it's the courage. So I told her, like, she got all that negativity off her page, the pictures with the guns and all that stuff like that.
Love that.
She took all that stuff down. So it's just a lot of people in Philly that the trauma and the mental health part, they really are the posters of it. This is why we get so much pain music.
Yeah.
If you think about it, all the songs we remember in Philly got to do with pain.
Yes.
It's hard to make fun music in Philly unless you dancing. But most of the rappers that rap in Philly, it's going to be all pain because it's all trauma. You feel what I'm saying? The thing is, the part about trying to heal that's where the pride part come in at, because a lot of us think that we don't need to talk to nobody, especially the men. We feel like, man, talking to how we came up, that's a weakness. I ain't about to tell nobody nothing.
It is not.
You
The
feel what
body
I'm saying?
remembers. If we're not getting it out, whether through communication, through movement, through different forms of therapies and techniques, your body will react. You will get sick. You will have all types of cholesterol issues, blood pressure issues. That stress will kill you. That trauma will make you ill. You have to get it out. Talking is a good form. What are some other resources that you know of for trauma healing, other therapies like that?
They got a lot of them out here. I feel like, depending on what you've been through, I would most likely say get around people that more so because the people that can relate to you, they gonna help. They're gonna be able to help you.
Yeah.
And that's not like shade against nobody else, but I feel like this trauma in Philly with a lot of us is so deep that we got to be able to talk to people that can relate, because if you just hitting me with words and textbook stuff like that, I'm not going to be able to relate to that, and I'm going to shut down.
Yeah.
It got to be some people that, and not necessarily you've been through what I've been through, but at least you know a person that been through it, that whereas though you can be able to soothe it out and be like, I understand, because if you ain't ever lose nobody, then we don't relate. But if you know somebody who lost somebody, you can say, at least I understand you, and this is how I was able to help that person.
Processing grief.
You know what I mean? And that's why a lot of people walk away from therapy, because there are a lot of good therapists, but it's very few great ones, because at the end of the day, a lot of those therapists just went to school. And for some of the things that we've been through, you had to live it. Yeah. You had to really see it. You had to be like on the forefront of it to really know what I'm talking about. Like, I met a young boy at the gas station, and they always intrigued me, because I used to pump gas when I was younger, and I used to just do it because my mom couldn't really afford nothing. But a lot of the misconceptions be like, they smoke weed, they do all these things, and some of them probably do. But just think about it. I always tell people, do you want them to pump gas, or you want them out here robbing and killing? Right. I'd rather he pump gas. If I got to give him money every day to pump gas, I'd rather him do that than go pick up a gun and rob somebody. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So I walked him home, and he had his 10-year-old brother locked in the basement. And I'm like, well, where your mom at? He like, man, she come and go. His dad was dead, and he like 13 years old.
That's all he know how to do.
That's all he know how to do.
To keep him safe. Like, look, you got to stay alive while I'm going.
Think about this. Like, he's a 13-year-old father for real. You feel what I'm saying? That's really unfair. And wherever his mom is at, it's like, yo, this is crazy. And as bad as I wanted to call him people on him, it's like he could get separated from his brother.
Right.
So I'm like, yo, here go my number, man. If you ever need me, just call me. Just reach out to me, or whatever the case may be. It's a lot of stories like that in the city of Philadelphia. That's why when people like, oh, where your kids at 10, 11 o'clock at night? Oh, they parents. Go get the parents. Because I'm telling you right now, I couldn't be outside at no 11 or 12. And I was bad, but I could not be out. My mom, if I wasn't in that crib, I'm getting locked up. And I knew when I came home, my mom going to tear me the hell up when I came home. It ain't none of that now, because they moms is outside, they dads is not around, and people yelling, get your kids, get your kids. They wouldn't be 1,000 deep outside if they had parents in their house who didn't play that. Right. You feel what I'm saying? So it's hard, man. And it's just rough, because a lot of the stuff we did as kids, they will never get a chance to experience. You know what I mean? They will never get a chance to experience. So I just fight for them hard as I possibly can.
On many different levels, and talking to, being there's okay. So when we look at and hear stories of, oh, wow, my initial reaction is to be like, wow, 13 put his brother in the basement. But it's like, you never know. Mom is out the house. What is mom doing? Not our business. She could be working. She could be working. Single mom struggle, got to work 3 jobs. And it's really systematic. It's so many layers to even try to just say it's a shame. It's, I don't even know where to begin with that one. But when we talk about healing the trauma, and we talk about therapies, and I completely understand some people will be turned off by the textbook terminologies and feel like, you know what, you cannot relate. I'm not even going to open up to you. There is a thing called self-healing, the self-healing journey. And it takes a minute. I don't think the healing journey ever really finishes, ever ends. Yeah, but you can you come to know knowledge of yourself, come to know your body. You have to revisit your past experiences, no matter how uncomfortable it may be, even with yourself, with a journal, with a friend, with a relative. You do have to revisit those things and try to assign new meaning to them. Find the strength in the pain, alchemize it. That way, when you go around and you rethink those experiences, you're not reliving the pain. You really reliving how you overcame it.
Facts.
So that's a very key element when it comes to doing the healing work. You got to retell them stories and find, we call it the silver lining in it. That's the medicine, the pain medicine. But,
and the reality is, a lot of people, that's the mental health thing for everybody is like shallow water. Like, because people just would rather talk about something else. They don't, because it opened them wounds up, man. And people, like, some people would try to forget them. So when you go back there, for most people, it's like, I don't want to revisit that. You know what I mean? I start talking about it because I want people to be able to relate. I want these young boys to know I've been all them places you talking about. I was there at all of them. I was in 15 juvenile facilities. I was in 6 mental hospitals. I was in 4 state jails. I did every county jail in Philadelphia. I did county jails outside of Philadelphia. I'm telling you, I've been in some of the darkest places. So I could tell you before you even get there, because I'm telling you what you're going to expect once you get there. This is how it's going to be. Ain't nothing changed. In fact, it might be worse of you going there now versus of when I went there. You know what I mean? So I want you to know how it's going to be when you get there. So when you get there, you can be like, damn, old head told me this is how it was going to be. And now you know.
I want to applaud you for your transparency, because that does take a lot of courage to come out and just be a walking testimony for everything that you did overcome and how you shifted your lifestyle and made it more purposeful. You feel me? I want to talk about the success. I want to get back to success. Now, compared to the lifestyle that you used to live before you got the discipline, before you had the mindset shifts, what would you, versus what you saw as success then, what do you see as success now?
Success now for me, honestly, is really, one is unlocking my mind from what I thought was right about the streets. That's what success is to me. Success to me now is, family, being surrounded by people that, got the morals and got that discipline and building something real. Success to me now is just being able to be out here and, like you said, be a walking testimony for the younger generation that's coming up behind me. Because a lot of the stigmas that people have, like in the beginning, they told me, oh man, you got to show these young bulls money and you got to show them cars and the whole 9 yards. And I thought that was the truth in the beginning, because I would pull up on them in the cars, but they would relate that to the streets. So I got rid of that. You know what I mean? And now I'll be in pickup trucks and stuff like that, because I don't want them to know what I got. I want them to really understand the message and what I'm saying, and not look at the car that I got and be like, they get money, man. They going to look at that wrong, because the thing about the mental health situation is this. You can give these kids in Philly, you can give them thousands, you can give them millions, but if they minds and their hearts is not really right, it's going to be all for nothing. So I want them to get the message. I don't want them to be distracted by nothing else, not a chain, not a watch, not a car. I want you to get the message clear cut as day, because I'm fighting to save your life, because there are a bunch of people that has this system designed for you that they'll take it from you.
To not make it.
You know what I mean? So I just want you to know, what it's hitting for, and that even what you think success has nothing to do with money. It don't have nothing to do with materialistic things. Success for a lot of people is many things that don't have nothing to do with money or materialistic things. And each individual person, how they value it and how they look at success, once you realize that it is bigger than money, it is bigger than things you could physically touch, I feel like you got a lot more freedom within your mind.
Right, a lot more peace, a lot of more contentment. Money is definitely a great resource.
Yeah, it's a great tool to have.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's that inner integrity there's way more value in moving with integrity. You get more rewards when you move with integrity and you don't focus on the material manifestations. That should come after. That should come as a natural response when you move doing the right thing.
Facts.
Yeah.
I was just telling the female artists, I said, because I we got a lot of female artists in the city of Philadelphia, and I was just telling them, and I was telling them, I said, I always like, I'm a Philly hip hop historian. I love music in general, but when it comes to Philly, I like break it down like for specific reasons. But I always tell them, I resort back to Eve. And the reason why I always resort back to Eve, because I'm saying this is a person who came from the trenches. She never had to sacrifice who she was. She never really had to shake her butt or do all the things that people think that's popular. It's all gimmicky. You feel what I'm saying? You take a person like a Lauryn Hill, if she never made nothing else but the Miseducation, she can tour off of that album for the rest of her life, because the album was so powerful and so impactful. But when you just trying to follow a trend of shaking your butt, you want to be the person that get the men for the money, that's gimmicky stuff. That has a very small window. So when that window closed, nobody's going to be talking about it no more. You understand? All the people that they think is popping right now, they popping now. I guarantee you in 5 years from now, these same people won't be popping, because all it's going to take is for a female artist that say, you know what, I'm gonna be transparent. I'm gonna talk about what people did to me when I was a little girl. I'm gonna talk about my mom. I'm gonna talk about my neighborhood. They're gonna change the world because there's gonna be more people that can relate to that than it is that people talking about you shaking your butt and because you looking good and you got a BBL and all these different things, you following a trend. But what's behind all that? So that's why when I get with these artists, I don't just go for the music. I want to know your story because I already know behind that makeup, you probably had 3 black eyes before. Somebody probably did something to you. But in your music, I hear about you shaking butt, but I don't hear you talking about domestic violence. I don't hear you talking about single moms. I don't hear you talking about all the things that will be able to last 20 years from now, 30 years from now. You being too shallow. You trying to go with what you think is popping.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I agree. And I talk about this often on my personal time, just between AI and artistry and also the antics and the gimmicks that we see a lot of people have to do to break through just for a temporary high. You feel? Because it don't even last long. To that I say, do not be discouraged. We just watched a whole, it's a whole wave of that. But coming up behind that wave of the antics is a bunch of realness because there's a bunch of people who are hungry, full of trauma that are out here using their voices. So it's only a matter of time before we on that next wave. We'll come after that. We make an impact.
Look
hopefully
at what you
it's
were saying
one.
with Amir Ali. I mean, shout out to Amir Ali.
Shout out to Amir Ali,
You don't see him, no jury on. He ain't talking about killing people. None of this dude is just like the dope lyricist. And I always compare him to like Kendrick and J. Cole. Like when he really take off, Amir Ali gonna be something that the city never seen before. Cause
he gonna be at the Roots
just
picnic
naturally, and he got his own set this time. Before he opened up this year, he got his own set.
Fire.
It take artists like that a while to get through that door, but when a certain person see him and give him that light, that's why I have no problem with giving people the light, because I know at the end of the day, it don't dim my candle
at all.
You feel? For me to light this whole exactly. For me to light this room up, I need more than my candle to light it up. I gotta light yours. I gotta light his, hers. I gotta light everybody's candle. So it's like I'm showing that, yo, it don't take nothing. You feel what I'm saying? Before from Philly, we getting maybe 2 or 3 stars at a time, man. We the leaders in so many things.
Right.
You feel me? So we leaders in so many things, and it's like it's time we put our city back on the stage. Respect to every other city, but we always been the big brothers and the big sisters of the whole America, and it's time for people to understand that and stop taking a back seat to everybody.
Being an outsider, somebody that's new to the Philadelphia area, I will say that y'all do a good job at collaborating in these events. There's always something happening in the city. Now, whether everything is collaborated and everybody's on the same page, but there's definitely hubs all over the city of different groups, different event curators. So it's definitely avenues for all the artists to come out and do their thing. And I'm grateful for that.
And it's the 250th year. Like, for all the hustlers, they better tighten up, because this the year, like, y'all probably will never see this many people coming to Philly. And the FIFA World Cup is the biggest thing on the planet.
I heard about that.
So millions of people are going to be in Philly. We talking about from people that sell clothes to people that sell merchandise. You can just be downtown this summer and you can make thousands if you really on your game.
Pay attention.
Because that many people are going to be in Philadelphia.
Get them business plans ready.
Everything. Like, you feel, even if you don't got one, be prepared, because you're going to be able to, if you a hustler, this 2026 in Philly is the year for you. I promise you.
Love that. We got to wrap it up soon. Mr. Motivate Youth, tell the people where they can find you.
MotivateTheYouth215 on everything.
On everything. Let the people know if you have anything coming up in the next month, next quarter.
You just see me outside. I don't know. I'm outside. You say come on Philly 3 times, I'm gonna appear like Superman.
Boom,
you know
like that.
It's just as simple as that. I'm outside, but I'm gonna just turn it up. I ain't stopping. I always tell people I'm just heating up. So when somebody be like, oh, I love what you're doing, I'm just starting. Every day I get up. You know what I mean? I used to hear this all the time. Every day you get up, you just started your life all over again. So that's how I look at it. I'm just starting. You know what I mean? I ain't nowhere near scratching the surface. I'm just starting.
I love it. Building the legacy. And we see you outside everywhere. Again, not just showing love to artists and people who are already on. He's showing love to people who take care of the community.
Facts.
People who are on the block doing work. He's like a news reporter journalist outside telling us shit that we don't even know about. So we are going to give you your flowers. We appreciate you, Amir.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you for your time. Again, I'm Carma.Ye. We on Blu3Print Radio, episode 2. We see you next time. Shout out to Bengy Jones.
Shout out to Bengy
Glocawear
Jones.
Radio, all that.
Glocawear Radio.
Yeah.
Blu3Print Radio. Thank y'all for
Thank
having me.
you. Thank y'all.
And I got what it takes to rock the mic right, yeah.